Okay, and today we are here at the J. Alvarez podcast, and we have a very special guest with us today, and her name is Anita. We're going to be talking about a little bit about what she does and what her trade is. So
Hi.
please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Anita. I am originally from Bulgaria. I've been in the States for about 18 years now. In the beauty industry for maybe 10. The story, how I started, it's a funny story. Should I get into it or?
Yeah, for sure. Let's hear it. Yeah.
All right, so I've done so many different things. I was a manager in a nightclub in Atlantic City
Interesting.
while in college for business. And then I realized that I cannot be in the corporate world and I have to do something that includes more people and more personal connection, so to speak. So that's when I went to makeup school. And I said, one day I want to own a salon, and I had the vision of how I wanted to look, what I wanted to be. The first step was to learn a little bit about every aspect. If I own a salon, if you're, let's say you come for an interview and you're a barber, I would want to know if you're good or not. So The only way to do that is if I learn.
Absolutely.
So I did the makeup, and then it didn't go anywhere, and the lashes started to become more popular. And I went home.
And what year was this, if
That
you can
was
remember?
2013 probably.
Right.
14.
Right. And ever since then, would you say the lash market kind of...
The lash market was just beginning then, or coming to the States, so to speak, because I went home and my cousin, she's a hairdresser, and she lived in London for a long time. So we both came home, and she's like, oh my gosh, you have to see, there's this... People were doing lashes in London, and I got the glue and I got the lashes, you have to do it. I'm like, I have no idea how to do that. She's like, well, you're a makeup artist, you should know.
Right.
So I tried and struggled, and it was really hectic for me to even get like one lash on her eye. And then I came back, and one of my friends, Tanya, who owns a salon in Jersey, she was like, yeah, you know, I'm starting to do this. Do you want to watch? So I'm like, sure. So I started watching a little bit of what she does. Then I started watching videos, practicing. And I ended up getting hired from this Asian girl in Cherry Hill.
Oh, wow.
Like South Jersey.
South Jersey, yeah.
She posted, she said, I need an eyelash assistant. Whatever, send your resume. So
and where was the post? Was it Craigslist, Instagram?
Craigslist. Yeah, it was on Craigslist.
Yeah. I'm glad you said Craigslist, by the way, because that's actually how I found my first.
It's the funniest thing, because I was in college. It was my last year of college, and I was taking so many classes, so I had to quit my job.
Right.
And I was driving Uber.
Wow.
So I'm sitting, and it was so slow, and I'm like, I need to make I need to do something. Like, I can't just sit here and wait for people to get an Uber in this. It's a slow, I guess, slow time.
Yeah.
So I sent my resume, and I said, yes, you know, I'm a makeup artist, but I have some experience. I had zero experience in the lashes. And she's like, when can you come for an interview? I'm like, I can come whenever you want me to. And I go there. And she had a model and just told me, okay, show me what you can do. So I'm shaking, and I'm really nervous and stressed. I'm like, I don't know. So I started doing it, and she saw obviously that I knew nothing. But then she said, I think there's a potential. I can teach you. I can show you everything that I know.
So she saw potential in you.
Yeah. So she taught me. I was maybe 6-7 months. I was driving an hour one way. From Atlantic City to Philly to Cherry Hill.
Wow.
For maybe $25-$30 a day, not even, of me working on clients and observing and just watching what she does. And that's how I learned.
Yeah, so you picked up a lot of value working with her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also down the road, because I ended up, I said I need to make money. I need to get a real job. So I started working at a law firm in that same area. I ended up moving there.
Cherry Hill area?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I ended up moving there, and the law firm got a little boring. So I reached out. I was like, hey, are you looking for people? She's like, yeah, I would love to have you back. And then when I started full-time with her is when I started making more money, getting better at what I do.
Right.
But she also showed me a lot of the business behind the scene of ordering suppliers,
right,
things like that.
The logistics.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Real quick.
Yeah.
So from your first time when you were working over there with her, right, to where you took the break to the law firm, how many years did you have already with her, or how many months of experience were you working with her already before you left the law firm?
6, 7 months.
6, 7 months.
Yeah.
Then you went to the law firm?
Yeah, for about a year, and then I was with her for another 2 years.
And were you practicing lashes on the side while you were at the law
Yes,
firm?
I was still like trying to learn, because it takes a lot of, you have to be very patient
Right.
and very precise.
I hear it's very tedious work.
Yes.
You have to be precise.
In the beginning, it was very stressful. Like, I couldn't drink coffee, or even hot chocolate would make me shake, and it almost like frustrates you, because you're attaching the lash and then it moves, or it gets glued to the other lash next to it. Everything has to be very, very precise.
At the time, right?
Yeah, at the time.
You said this was 2013, 2014?
Yeah, 13, yeah.
After the law firm, you go back to work with her again. You're charging more now. You have more experience.
Yeah.
You've gained more value. And now you're also learning value from the back end of what it takes to run a lash bar. Another question. With her, right, at that time, what were the prices for lashes?
To be honest, I can't even remember. I think it was more expensive for sure, because it was something new.
Okay.
But she was also doing a lot of Groupon promotions, and I can't really, I can't really remember.
What could you say you learned? You told me you learned a lot of stuff about ordering products, like certain glues probably, right? Which glue is better than this one? Your second time around, you learned more of like the background of the business.
Yeah.
What could you say were like 3 things you really learned over there?
There's so many. Like, I saw the way that she dealt with the clients, and I also, in a way, she made everything look very simple. She's like, yeah, we're going to go, for example, today, it's like my first fair that I've ever done. And I remember
Me
her, I remember her doing that all the time, and she had no experience, not much experience. She had 2 little kids, just divorced, moved from New York to Jersey, and she was just very all over the place. But she's like, no. So now I go online, I order this, and we're just gonna go. So it was like the ease that she had. And when clients would come and complain, and she would always find a way. Like, I guess that aspect was one of the most valuable at the time.
Environment, how to deal with clients, how to greet them, how to handle a situation when a client is unhappy, how to make sure they leave with a smile on their face, all of those things. Very interesting. Let's talk about where you're at now, right? That's almost 10 years ago. Talk about where you're at now, and let's talk about where lashing has taken you since then.
So after the 2 years I was with her, I decided to move to New York, packed my car, and I just moved here.
Just kind of said, let's just go to New York.
I've always wanted to live here, and maybe subconsciously I knew that I'll make my way somehow.
Eventually, right?
So I came and I found a place to stay for a little bit. Didn't have a job, didn't have anything. I went on Craigslist again. And
Shout out to Craigslist.
Yes. And Instagram wasn't as popular back then as it is now. Obviously, all social media in general. But I started just researching the more high-end places, salons that are looking for people. I applied to 2 of them. And I didn't want to rush into anything. I didn't want to just get a job, because I have a background in hospitality. I've worked so many different things. So I didn't want to get a job, because I can always get a job as a bartender or a server or whatever.
Right.
I wanted to find something that I'm going to like, and I'm going to, want to build from there. So I went to one interview at a lash place. It was horrible. The place was very, I don't know, the vibe wasn't there. Very quiet. Everyone was like, looking around weirdly. And then they're like, yeah, we all share the tips. And if you don't get clients, you don't get paid. And then, the schedule is like all over the place. So I'm like, oh my gosh.
You didn't like the system over there too much, how they ran the operations.
So then I was like, oh my gosh, I probably have to get a serving job, because how am I going to survive in New York with having to share my tips? And because from the beginning, in this industry you have to build your clientele. Like, you don't just get busy from the get-go.
Absolutely. You have to build momentum day in and day out. You have to be available
and make sure that people know you and know your work, and that takes time. It's not like a hamburger. People are not coming for a haircut or lashes every day.
Right.
So the next day I went to another interview, and that's the place that I've been working now for almost 7 years.
Nice.
So they've been amazing, and I've learned and grew and established myself even more along the way. But I guess the direction now is different. I'm definitely ready to get more on my own and be a little more independent and move. I am the type of person, I guess you can tell by the progression of the changing of the different jobs. I always want more. I always want to do more and learn more and be in a position where this is possible. Right now at the salon, like, I've exceeded everything. Like, there's nothing more that I can do.
That's great. And I feel like that's an indicator that you're ready to own your own salon.
Yeah.
Is that what you're working towards nowadays?
It's a scary thought. I'm not sure. Ultimately, yes, but I also I'm teaching classes. I want to focus on that. I want to expand in that direction and be a little more flexible with location, so I can maybe travel, because I love to travel as well, and offer different classes, different locations, and go from there. But being independent for sure, yeah.
Yeah, being independent. And you're also mentioning you want to do classes, so you also want to teach as well.
Yes, I think throughout the years I've done a lot of training. I have so much experience that I want to share that with people. I see a lot of new estheticians and artists starting and not knowing the basics, because that business is not just me doing the lashes. It includes much more than that. The way you present yourself, the way you talk to people, the way the type of conversations that you have. It's a package of so many things. It's not just, okay, let me do your lashes.
It's service.
And be done. Yeah.
Oh.
Which I've learned from the casino and the hospitality business, where, you get to, someone walks into your place, you have to make an eye contact. You have to,
Absolutely.
smile, leave everything at home, no matter what's going on. You go to work, and this is, customer service, that's your priority. And then
Absolutely. Let me take it back to when you said you had your first interview in New York at the first lash salon, and it was not good for you. You didn't like how they were running things over there. You didn't like the vibe. Let's talk about when you got into your second interview, which you've been in there now for 7 years.
I knew right away. Like, I walked in, and the music, it was a beautiful place. It is a beautiful place. Very nice and open, white, the music, the whole energy of the place. Everyone was very friendly. I'm still friends with a lot of the girls that were there. They're not there anymore. During COVID, a lot of people moved away. It was a package of everything, just very laid back, very friendly environment.
Let's also talk about what you decided what you were looking for. It's a very important point you pointed out, right? Which was, I was looking at very specific parts of New York. Very specific parts of Manhattan. Was that what you were looking?
Yeah.
And let's talk about how important that is in this industry, right? Your demographic.
It's very important.
And you went from two completely different demographics. You went from Cherry Hill, South Jersey, to the Mecca, New York City, Manhattan. So let's talk about what your thought process was transitioning from when you took everything and you were like, you know what, I'm just going to roll the dice. We're going to go to New York. We're going to see how it goes. How important was it for you to search at that location? Not only because that's where you moved, but how important is demographic to this industry, to the service industry?
I think it's very important. If I have to be completely honest, money was my concern, because everyone, before moving to New York, everyone, even my parents, are like, what are you going to do? It's so expensive there. Rent is so expensive. Everything is so expensive. You need to have a really good job to be comfortable. So my first thought was, okay, I have to find a good job at a salon that obviously charges more money. Therefore, I'm going to be making more money. The clientele is going to be better, and then, go from there. If I have to answer that question right now, from me as an artist today, like, I would say, again, it matters, because you want your experience and your knowledge to be paid for. You know, I'm not doing charity work for anybody.
Absolutely.
Because I've spent, like I said, you know, in my first 6-7 months, I was making $15-20 a day, driving 2 hours just to learn what I'm doing now, and something that it used to take me 2 hours. Now I can give you a full set in an hour.
Right. Cut the time down in half.
So, you know, it's a lot of, I don't want to say sacrifices, but definitely I wouldn't drink coffee, and I would watch YouTube videos for hours and observe my friend and the girl that I worked for, hours that nobody is paying you for. And then the whole road of that, you're becoming who you are. So now I have the confidence and the ability to say, well, this is my price. If you don't want to pay it, go somewhere where someone will do it for you, have the price, but also the result will be, the result will be half of the result. And I've had so many examples of that. Like, you know, girls will come with their lashes glued to the eyelids, with blown eyes, from people that, you know, I don't even know if they have their licenses, and they're like, oh, you have to fix my lashes.
And let's be honest, right? Sometimes it takes the client to go and try out someone else and experience what, you know, that is
difference,
like. And then come back to you, and then, you know, this is where you belong. And that's why you pay the price you're paying, and you know, and you've earned it throughout your time. You've earned it. Yeah, very interesting. I love the story. I also want to ask you about how important it is. You made very good points in the beginning, where you did a lot of sacrificing in the beginning and you didn't get paid. You weren't getting paid what you felt like you should have. You were commuting. You probably weren't even breaking even. But what you were gaining was value and experience. And in the beginning, in any business, in any craft, you always sacrifice what you get paid from a monetization point for value and information. So how important is that as well?
Oh, it's very important. I think that probably I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that.
Those initial steps.
That is experience, because you learn a little something every step of the way. And it's not about the money. The people that I've met along the way, clients or coworkers, situations that you've been put through, I had to, you know, when, like I said, the girl in Cherry Hill, she had 2 kids. I had to babysit those kids when she was with clients. They're crying and they want to wash their hands, and, you know, so like all kinds of stuff that, you know, in a different circumstance, you probably would never be put in that situation.
But you see, you did all of that. And another point you made at the beginning of this interview was that when you walked in there, you treated it like it was yours.
100%. That's been my work ethic for anywhere I've worked. It doesn't matter. My first job, I'm an immigrant from Bulgaria. So my first job when I moved here, I was 16 years old, and I was working as a housekeeper, you know, and I'm not ashamed of that. This is what we had to do. It was me and my mom. Yeah. And in order to make money, this is what I did for the summer. Right. And it doesn't matter what the job is. You have to put your 100% and treat it like it's yours, because it's your name. It's your, everybody nowadays says brand, but it's so true. Like this is your face in front of everybody. And because I was so young, going back to when we first came to America, I came back to work at that casino many years after that, maybe 7-8 years. And some of my managers remembered me. And when I was supposed to get a job, they put in a good word, and I had a job, like in a casino that was just opening up. It was the hottest place in Atlantic City, and it was really hard to get in. So I, because of that, because of the way that I treated my job years before that, I was able to get in.
Right. And again, paying attention to the demographic at the casino, you knew that was a good demographic. You knew it was a good...
Yeah, it was the newest place in the city, and I was just starting college, and I tried to venture out and move to Virginia. I came back, and I moved out of my parents' house when I was younger, like 19 years old, and I always wanted to be independent. So I had to find a job to be able to pay my bills, and that was the way. But to this day, everywhere I've worked, because I've worked in restaurants and I managed a nightclub for a year or two. Even to this day, when I go back a lot of people know me, and it feels good to keep those relationships, but they're built through the way that you treat people, the way that you talk to people about anything, and it's important.
Right. Yeah, I just really want to talk about when you're new in any industry or in any business. It's so important that you walk in there, whether it's a barber shop, a deli, a mom and pop shop, walk in there and treat it like it's your business, because eventually, if you want to own your own business, you're already going to have the experience. You're already going to have the perspective of like, I've already dealt with, like, you used to take care of your kids. And I'm sure you did a bunch of other stuff in the salon.
Yeah, that was not on my job
That was not on your job description. But you took the initiative of doing that just because you knew eventually when you do have your own business, you're going to perform at the same standard.
Yes. I think it's also very individual, personal, like of who you really are and the type of people that you attract. If you're a shitty person, you probably are going to attract some shitty people, you know? Yeah. And I'm not saying that I'm the best, the greatest, or anything like that, but I don't do it for anybody to say, oh, thank you, congratulate me or anything. It just comes from me. But I think that it's important in anything that you do, because I hate when people are like, oh, I have to go to work. Oh, I have to do this. Well, if you feel like that, why do you do it? Why? You know, life is short. Like, why do you have to put yourself in situations where you're not happy? And I'm not saying I'm happy every day. I'm very grumpy and I have attitude too. But it's like, you know, I go to work, I spend 9-10 hours with these people or with doing whatever. Why do I have to go there with a bad attitude and have everything be a problem? Instead of just like, I see a piece of paper on the floor, I'm going to pick it up. Well, it's not, it takes me exactly 3 seconds. What is this going to cost me? Nothing, you know? Right. It's about everything, not just for like your clients or where you've worked, or just because one day I might have the same business and I want to treat it the same way. It just makes it flow. And like I said, you attract like-minded people that tomorrow, you know, you have a business and you want everyone to feel like they're part of something.
That's right.
If the whole machine is working and it's successful, we're all good.
It's a network.
And how does that happen? Well, you know, you come to work and you're not just going by the list of like, okay, I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. Nothing else. Because I've worked with people that say this and that are like, well, you know, my lunch break is from 2 to 3. If a client comes early, I'm not taking it. No, if a client comes early, I'm taking it because I want to put that money in my pocket.
That's right.
And I also want to, you know, make it easy for the client. What is going to cost me? I'm going to sit in the break room for half an hour just, you know, like watching stupid Instagram reels.
That's right.
Or waste time in some other way. If you're really like eating your lunch, okay, fine, you know, you don't have to. But if I have the opportunity, why wouldn't I do it? You know?
Absolutely. Great mentality, great points. Do you want to shout out where you're going to be at now, where they can find you, your brand name?
Everybody can find me on Instagram or Facebook. It's Eyelashes by Anita.
Eyelashes by Anita.
It's
follow her on Instagram. Follow her on Facebook.
Thank you.
Pleasure having you here today. Very great points. It was a very good conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you as well.
Likewise.
Yeah.